Salutations, people of the internet, Matt here from Hydro Gaming, and welcome to episode 16 of Knightwatch: A Journey, a series where we as a community create our very own single-player RPG video game using the power of the Unreal Engine. In today's episode, I'd like to go over the progress I've made with the game's artificial intelligence system, as well as some other important RPG systems like stealth and friend or foe alliances. All this and more coming up as soon as I apologize for the huge delay between episode 15 and episode 16. I normally like to get a new devlog out for you guys at the bare minimum once every couple weeks, but I'm currently renovating our new place. Our being myself and my soon-to-be wife. And then we've got the move coming up, but rest assured I am still hard at work with Knightwatch, and right now I'm working on a system that isn't exactly something that can be thrown together quickly or easy. AI is tricky. Anyway, it's intro time. So, with Knightwatch being a game that is heavily inspired by Bethesda games, mainly the Elder Scrolls and Fallout, obviously we need to start adding NPCs. And before we delve into any specifics, I first want to go over a system that Matt and I have been working on for the naming of NPCs, locations, and items in the game. As it stands, the way we name NPCs in the game is through the comment section or my business email on the channel page. People ask if they can have an NPC named after them using one of these two communications means, and I add their names to a character reservation list. Currently, 4 characters are reserved. The first one being Ruben Lyman for the Edenvale General Store shopkeeper, Wordis Keelden for the enraged wizard in the ruined Eden Foundation lab. Side note, I was having trouble taking the name Wordis the enraged wizard seriously, but now that I'm saying it out loud, I actually think it's kind of hilarious. And I may take this character in a bit of a different direction. Like, maybe after years of experimentation and radiation exposure, he's gone completely out of his mind and thinks he's more powerful than he is. That way, the first boss battle of the game can serve as an easier to tackle primer of sorts to introduce you to the boss battle concept in the game, before you move on to much more difficult boss battles more akin to Dark Souls or some battles from the Witcher series. Right now, I'm imagining Wordis the Enraged Wizard kind of like the biotic god Volus from Mass Effect 2. Watch this scene and you'll understand.
I am a biotic god. I think things, and they happen. Fear me, lesser creatures, for I am biotics made flesh.
Anyways, moving on, we've got a couple more reservations like Mach, the first mount that is gifted to your character in the game. I think that following this, the player will be able to name all other mounts that they collect, so just the first one will have a preset name. This name comes from a project being worked on in Unreal Engine by Junkies Studios, inspired by the Sonic franchise. Stuff he's created looks really cool, and if you're interested in the project, you should definitely check out his channel, which you can find a link to in the description down below. And finally, Simon Slav, or Slav, the Eden family jester. Maybe he'll play a bigger role than expected, such as Cicero in Skyrim, but we'll see. I don't want to get too derivative of the Elder Scrolls series. If you'd like to have your name added to the list and a character, location, or item name reserved, comment down below with your name idea and we'll see about getting you on the reservation list. Chapter 2 will be a quick intro to how non-playable characters work on the development side, which will feed into some gameplay. So basically, the way NPCs work is they are dragged into the game world and placed in their designated locations. Following that, I create a routine for the NPCs to follow. Now, I won't turn this into a tutorial, but basically what I've done is I've created a streamlined system where I can add dozens of NPCs to the game and quickly and easily program their cycles in a matter of hours rather than days. For some of the simpler NPCs, like town guards or bandits, I can just copy and paste behavior code. Anyways, the system I've developed allows me to make NPCs follow specific patrol routes, move to waypoints, play different and random animations from a preset list of possible idle animations, and react to hostility, whether that means running away or engaging in a fight. Even though, as it stands now, I haven't added in a runaway feature, so NPCs will always choose to fight even if they'll definitely lose, but I'll cover that later. I think I'll use the same code that I used for Shrek's runaway system in our first 24-hour game challenge on the channel. Link in the description below.
And then he scurries off into the woods.
Before we move on, we have a very special message from today's sponsor, us. If you're visiting the channel for the first time and enjoying what you see, just know that we have a wide variety of content on the channel. Besides making our own video game in our flagship series, where I work with the community to craft a single-player RPG using the Unreal Engine, we're currently doing Minecraft challenges, one-off videos where we play less than popular games on Steam, as well as playthroughs of video games. Right now we're playing Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. We also have a merch store with a link in the description down below. And if you enjoy what you've seen on the channel, please consider liking, sharing, subscribing, and ringing the bell down below for notifications. It's totally free and it really helps out the channel. And down the road, if you decide, you can always unsubscribe later. And now, back to the video. So, back to NPC behavior. Using the tools provided by the Unreal Engine, I was able to craft a detection system where enemies, or just NPCs in general, can hear and see you. So, for example, if I sneak up behind an NPC facing the opposite direction, they won't notice me approaching. However, if I exit sneak mode, my footsteps become louder and they detect me. Whether or not the NPC has noticed you is shown by a symbol displayed atop their health bar. In addition, if you walk into an NPC's field of view, even while you're sneaking, they will detect you, and if they are hostile toward you, they'll begin to attack. But we'll cover friend or foe detection in the next chapter. Next, if you're able to sneak up on an enemy, you'll have the opportunity to silently neutralize them without attracting the attention of other NPCs in the area. Side note, these are placeholder animations. I'm already working on the new ones and plan on having them implemented for episode 17, which will probably come out in about 6 years. Anyways, this will be great for stealth missions or players who choose to move quietly rather than engaging in all-out combat. Once the character level system is implemented, this will also be a great way for dealing with enemies that outlevel the player and would normally be difficult to dispatch. Finally, we're getting to the best part. So, I want to create a game with some fairly cinematic battles. Now, I'm not a perfect game designer or coder by any stretch of the imagination, but I've created a system I think I'm fairly happy with. Yes, there are a lot of bugs to work out with the system, but as I always say, it's an iterative process, one thing at a time. Anyways, friend or foe system. How it works is each NPC is assigned a faction number. NPCs who are in the same faction, let's say guards or bandits, are friendly toward each other and will protect other NPCs or players within the same faction. On the other hand, NPCs with different faction numbers will attack each other. For the sake of player convenience, NPCs in a faction that does not align with the player, such as town guards if the player commits a crime, will be denoted by red health bars, while all friendly NPCs will be denoted by white health bars. And to finish off this week's devlog, even though I'm saving sword combat for a future episode, I want to show it off a little bit here. I won't go over the features too much here, other than to say the player will only lock onto enemy characters during combat to avoid friendly fire or friendly swording, whatever you want to call it. Alright, let's have a quick gameplay showcase.